Yoshida has dinner with the girl of his dreams. He is engaging in a plot staring contest and Irie thanks him for taking her out. He builds up the courage and asks her if she would like to be his girlfriend. She apologizes to him, telling him that she's seeing someone. Yoshida hangs out with his friend, getting angry that he's been rejected and wishing that she would have just said she's dating someone. He is ready to cry, thinking she stole his heart while she was just dating someone else for the last 5 years. His friend tells him that he will head home because it's getting late, and Yoshida walks home alone, angry at Irie. As he walks, he sees a girl sitting underneath a lamppost and wonders what she's doing there. He calls out to her, asking her what she's doing at this time and telling her to go home. She tells him that there's no trains, and he asks her if she's going to be sitting here all night. She smiles, asking him to stay at his place and calling him Mr. He asks her what kind of girl would stay at a place of a man she's never met. She tells him that she has nowhere else to go tonight and has no money to stay anywhere. He asks if he's supposed to let her stay for free, but she says that she'll let him do anything to her if he lets her stay. He wonders if all girls are like this now, but realizes that he's just met a weird one, telling her not to say that even as a joke. She then tells him that he should just let her stay for free then. She goes inside his apartment and realizes that it's filthy. He thinks that he shouldn't get involved with her or try to learn anything about her because it's not his problem. He will just kick her out in the morning. He goes to bed, ready to sleep, and he tells her she can do whatever she wants. She begins removing her clothes and asks him if he's sure he doesn't want to do anything. He tells her that he won't repeat himself and that he's into older women. She asks him if she can do anything for him, and he tells her he would want miso soup made by a woman. He falls asleep and she sits alone, thinking about what just happened. In the morning, Yoshida wakes up and realizes he's late to work, but then remembers that it's just Sunday. He smells something and hears the girl telling him good morning. He asks her what a high school girl is doing in his house, and she tells him that she asked him to stay, and he let her. He rejects the idea of this, but she tells him that he definitely did. He asks if he did anything to her, worried that he may have clapped her last night. She stares at him, scaring him, but then telling him that she's just joking. She tells him that he kept refusing clapping her, and he's glad he was able to stay strong. She prepares him miso soup, and he tells her not to make miso soup at a stranger's house. She tells him that he's the one who asked for it, and calls him Mr. He tells her to stop calling him Mr. and to just leave. She asks him if he really doesn't remember anything from last night, and he wonders what she's talking about. His memory begins coming back to him, and he remembers her wearing black clothes. She calls him Mr. again, and asks him what his name is. He tells her that his name is Yoshida, and she tells him that he looks like a Yoshida. She then tells him to eat the food already, and he tells her not to tell him what to do. She tells him to eat it before it's cold, and he tries it, realizing it's good. She asks him if he would have preferred Irie preparing it, and he wonders how she found out. She tells him that he was saying her name throughout his sleep last night. She sits next to him, asking him if she could make him feel better. He tells her that she needs to stop, and that he doesn't need her to make him feel better. She begins removing her clothes, saying that she has huge melons. He is dumbfounded but thinks Iris are bigger. She asks him what cup size is Irie, and he tells her that they're F cup. She tells him that she's an F cup, and he wonders how she's that big, and she tells him that Irie might be a G or a H cup. He thinks that he wishes he could have felt those H cup melons just once. She asks him if he wants to feel her melons, and he asks her why she's trying to seduce him, and he asks her what her problem is. She tells him that she wants to ask him something, and she hugs him, asking him why he's refusing a girl wanting him in front of him. She tells him that he's the one who isn't normal because she's never met a man who was able to turn her down. He grabs her, calling her stupid and asking for her name. She tells him her name is Sayu, and realizes that she gave out her real name. He asks to see her student ID and sees that she's from an extremely far place. He asks her when she left her house, and she tells him 6 months ago. She tells him she's sure her family is happy without her. He asks her how she's going to survive if she's not going home or to school, and she tells him that she'll find a way to stay at someone's home. She tells him she would find another place, and he asks her how. He gets frustrated, telling her that she should work. She tells him that she can't pay rent just with a part-time job, so he tells her to live with him. He gets up, telling her that he'll knock the stupid out of her and calls her a stupid brat who doesn't know what things are worth. She cries and he wonders why. Why wasn't she able to have a normal life and a normal love like every other teenager? He tells her that her first job will be doing the chores around here. She tells him that it sounds like she could stay here forever, but he tells her that she can only stay here until she's done being a runaway. He thinks that this would be better than allowing her to go around and get seduced by other men, but that he must be careful with his words so she doesn't get comfortable. He tells her that she can stay here until she stops being a brat, and that the next time she tries to seduce him, he will kick her out. She agrees that she'll stop and thus begin a new chapter in their life. At work, he tells his friend about what happened after he left. His friend warns him, telling him it's risky, and Yoshida knows that it's dangerous. He heads home, wondering if she ate anything, and remembering his friend's words telling him that he shouldn't get too attached to her. At home, she's preparing food and Yoshida enters inside. She tells him, "Welcome home, Daddy," and he tells her to stop because it's gross. He tells her that he brought her bento and begins to undress. He sees that she ironed all of his clothes and he thinks that she's good at doing chores. He asks her where the ashtray is and she gives it to him washed. He gets up to smoke outside and she asks him why he doesn't just smoke here. He says that it's because she's here and she calls him nice. She tells him that no other guy worry about her when smoking, and he gets angry, wondering why she's getting all her values from those guys. He tells her that he's not nice, but all the other guys were just assholes. He tells her to have standards for herself, and she tells him that she understands. He wonders why he's the only one looking after her like he's her guardian. He thinks that the whole world is full of awful people, and that includes him because he's giving her a place to stay and letting her continue running. He wonders what he should do. The next morning, she wakes up and walks off, and Yoshida hears that she's in pain. She walks next to him, and he realizes that she's been wearing the same clothes every day. She tells him that it's the only thing she has, so he decides to take her to a mall. She tells him that it's fine, and he doesn't need to do this, but he tells her they're going to buy her clothes and a new mattress because she wakes up in pain every morning. She tells him that if he does all this for her, she won't know how to repay him. He realizes that she's not trying to be modest, but is instead refusing all this because she can't repay him. He wonders why a kid would think like that, and he tells her that he's busy so her doing chores for him would be her form of repayment. He thinks that it should be enough of a reason, and she tells him that she's okay with that if he is. She goes home and thinks her new mattress is comfortable and that she'll sleep great tonight. She asks him if he would like to sleep with her and gives him a smirk, but she tells him that she didn't say anything weird and that he's the dirty one for thinking of weird things. She laughs and he thinks that she's cuter when she laughs like this. She thanks him, and the next morning, his friend tells him that there's a rumor that he's got a new girlfriend. He tells him that he's cleaner and all his clothes are ironed. He's looking better and going home early, so all the girls think he has a girlfriend. At home, he thinks that Sayu isn't his type, but she happens to be cute and is responsible, so he wonders why she would run all the way from her home to Tokyo. The next day, she asks him why he doesn't shave his facial hair. He tells her that he's lazy, and she wonders why he only shaves it sometimes. He tells her that he only does it when it gets long, because it makes him feel old. He tells her that he thinks getting too lazy to shave your facial hair is when you get old, but she tells him that his facial hair doesn't look good on him. He looks in the mirror, deciding that he will shave his hair. At the mall, he buys her more things that she needs and asks her if she has a phone. She tells him that she doesn't, and she tells him that she actually just threw it out in the ocean. He tells her that she's dumb and that he would want her to get one because he would like to contact her. She tells him that she really doesn't need one because he got her moisturizer and gives him a smile. He looks at her smile, feeling like it's forced, and wonders if it's truly from the bottom of her heart. They head home and she asks him if he will be able to read all the books he got. He tells her that he will on the weekends, but that she could also read them if she wanted to without spoiling them for him. He then realizes that she's sitting sadly, and she is about to ask him why he is so, but cuts herself off and tells him it's nothing. He tells her to spit it out because he's curious, but she tells him to just forget it and starts fake laughing. He thinks that she's doing that fake smile again, and he tells her to stop forcing herself to smile. He tells her that it may not be her home, but she's allowed to live here, so she doesn't need to act weird and lie to him with her smiles. She comes and tells him that she was going to ask why he's so nice, and that he's nicer than anyone else she's ever met. So if he wants her to stop acting weird, then she will. She tells him that her fake smiles are just a habit of hers now, and that it'll take time, but she will try her hardest to stop. He tells her to take her time, and she thinks that he's really nice. She tells him that nobody's ever given her this much freedom or choices before, and that she'll try to make him think that he's glad she came to his life. He begins laughing, and he tells her that she's pretty kind too, and that he's looking forward to her working hard and expects great food. She tells him she won't let him down. That's all for today. Let me know what you think about this anime in the comments below, and if you enjoyed watching this video, consider liking and subscribing for more like it. Thanks for watching.